All right, guys. So,
Hell yeah.
you know, there was once a famous saying in a movie, I could say, and they said they should have sent a poet.
Uh-huh.
And let me tell you, they didn't need to because they sent Beseda to do it. Because let me tell you guys, Fallout was fucking incredible.
Hmm.
The new Fallout show, guys, I'm just going to say it, season one, I binge watched it, all of it in the first day. And I wanted more. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, it stars Ella Purnell as Lucy McLean, Johnny Pepperton as Thaddeus, Kyle McLean as Hank McLean, Axia Kendrick as Mo Devers lead guard. This is the best one. Walton Goggins as Cooper Howard,
Yeah.
and Maurice Aries as Norm McLean. So set in the Fallout universe, the story of these characters basically surviving the wasteland. But for those of you who don't know what Fallout is, it is actually a video game spanning back years now.
1997.
Right, on PC, and then went to console, and it was in fact game of the year in the 2000s with Fallout 3.
Mhm.
Man, I gotta tell you guys, I've seen some adaptations, and you know, I've seen Resident Evil,
Mhm.
I've seen Halo, I've seen the Flintstones,
Yeah. The Last of Us.
I've seen Last of Us, and I have to tell you, this is the greatest adaptation I've ever seen, hands down. We talked about this prior to it coming out, and we said that, were they going to force the aspect of it being Fallout on everyone? Because you're either really going to get what's going on or you're not going to get what's going on at all. And they went exactly for that. They did not care. This is exactly towards the people that love Fallout, but you can still enjoy it, though. It actually has a story. It actually has a very good story, but it has the lore of Fallout with it. It has everything to do with Fallout, from the costumes they wear to the music you hear in the show to from the detail to the guns they use. Everything was Fallout. When we talk about adaptations like Resident Evil, for example, it was the mansion in the first movie, but it wasn't the mansion. They had guns, but they didn't have the guns from Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
This was exactly as you play. It was everything was Fallout, from the everything they wore to everything they used.
Mhm.
Kudos to Walt Goggins, because I was so happy to see this man shine.
Hell
He
yeah.
deserves to have this role.
It was great.
He was amazing as the Ghoul. And he even said himself in an interview he loved doing this role because he's not a gamer, but he loved the Western aspect of Fallout, which is what is part of Fallout. And that's what was great about the show, is it encapsulated Fallout exactly. Because in the game of Fallout, nothing is what it seems. Nothing is ever what it seems. There is not everything that you see. Sometimes if you come around something too good to be true, that's because it is.
Yeah.
And that's what was great about the show, was nothing was what it seemed. Everything had a twist and a turn, like the Fallout game. I know I'm rambling on because I loved it so much, but I want to get your guys' take on it. Steve, what did you think of Fallout?
I liked it, but you're saying it's the best video game adaptation over the Super Mario Brothers movie? Really? No, dude, I can't follow you there, but this is fantastic, man. I was blown away. Now, I'm not like a super Fallout head. I played the games. I love them. I played all the ones on the PC 1 and 2. Played 3 even, and people didn't even like 3 when that came out. I own them all, and I like them. And this one kind of when doing the review for the show and getting all of the cumulative data, this one followed, for people who are fans of the game and haven't watched the show, it more loosely follows the fourth game. There's a lot of similarities to the story from the fourth game.
Yeah, it's
but then there's also
3, I believe.
Vault
3, because it's not Vault 4, because Vault 4 is in the show, but it's Vault 3 that I think they're going off. Shady Sands. That's a real thing from Vegas. It's a real thing from the game.
And from the game, it's a town in Fallout 1. It was a town called Shady Sands, like the first town I believe you go to. There's also homages to Fallout New Vegas.
That's gonna be the next season.
Yeah, and dude, the thing that I want to address just really quickly, not too much on it, is the people that had issues with the show, which is anything with video game adaptation, is that it doesn't follow the quote unquote lore too heavily, right? People had an issue with the Brotherhood of Steel not being.
What?
They're like, they're going. That's what they're doing with the Brotherhood of Steel. It's like, well, you know,
What? That
what
was the Brotherhood of Steel.
cares? Oh,
They're
I
stupid. They're racist. They
and
think
they're
Yeah.
ghouls are zombies. That is in the game.
Yeah, the Brotherhood is not a cool organization.
They're
not
bad
at all.
guys.
They're idiot.
bad.
They're kind of dumb. Yeah, really.
Very
Yeah.
much so. And they change dramatically throughout each game, sort of. Like there are
Yeah,
increments I
right.
see, and the show is taking the nucleus of that and putting it into the show. And I must say, this is based off of a role-playing game, which means you make it how your own. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
I saw somebody saying that there's three main characters in the show. There's one person who comes out from the Fallout, we'll discuss.
Yeah.
Out of the shelter, one person who's a ghoul, right? And one person that's coming from the Brotherhood of Steel. So you get basically three aspects, main
Which we
aspects
said needed to happen. We
that needed to
predicted
happen.
that needed to happen for it to
Usually-
be a good show.
Yeah, and that's the three aspects that people usually want to be a gunslinger in the game. They want to come from the Brotherhood of Steel, or they're coming out of the shelter and role playing like that person. And I felt like they handled everything perfectly. They even did something where the stimulus packages or the little health
Just heals people.
Yeah.
it just heals them like the game. You just like, oh, okay, you're better. There's no questions asked. That's a lot of hand wavy stuff in video games that I was completely fine with, and they nailed the imagery. This show, in the 8 episodes that they had, even to the end, was a very captivating and well put together show. From the comedy of how like Fallout has, and Fallout has
It was
very
fun. It was
stale
a fun like
comedy,
Fallout.
just
Yeah.
like that. It was just the same way, and they had the mysteries. Hands down, one of the greatest, if not the greatest show of video games history.
Luke, what did you think of Fallout?
Yeah, aping on what you guys said, really good. I haven't finished the series yet, but what I've watched so far, I've really, really liked it. Kind of to jump onto your point, Rob, about like how they do it. One thing that really did stick with me is that, like, if I was watching this uninitiated, how much would I be able to understand? And I think like they do it really well, letting you know that this isn't just necessarily a post-apocalypse show. This is, this is built out of like a alternate timeline that then became a post-apocalypse. They're kind of living in the remnants of a pretty weird version of not weird, but like a amped up version of America that we still kind of see lingering threads of in the post-apocalypse. In the power structures that are there, and especially with the people of the vaults who like continue to insist, that like they're going to save America, or like they're preserving this this time that is long since dead, and this basically representing the forces that caused this thing in the first place. And that is also a really great aspect of it too. The tone that it strikes. It's this, wonderful blend of like funny and dark, because the Fallout series has a really great element of satire, and a lot of moral ambiguity, with everybody always kind of like in for themselves, and all of the short-sightedness and people sort of standing by ideologies that are both inappropriate for the situation,
ridiculous.
Or ridiculous. Yeah, it's like they're still holding on to old traditions, in the hope that that's going to get them ahead in life. But like the Wasteland, as I said, the Wasteland doesn't care.
War is war.
Loved all of it. War never changes.
War never changes.
Walton Goggins, great. I love Walton Goggins in everything he's ever in.
Predators, remember?
Yeah. Everything he's in, he is the best. Every time he's on screen.
House of 1,000 Corpses. Yep. And you guys believe that man has come all the way since House of 1,000 Corpses.
The other two main characters pretty good. I'll admit the Brotherhood of Steel guy felt a little underdeveloped, but you got to have a Brotherhood of Steel guy.
Kind of annoying, but again, he was stupid,
he was
like
probably
a Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah, it's interesting because he is, so in the spirit of Fallout, he's like the most self-serving. of it. Um, like the most, like he is very much, if you were thinking of him as like a play build, he's like basically just doing whatever he wants and like running from danger when he has to. But yeah, it's a little bit whatever. But yeah, it's a just really good, visually really great too. And just
That's
so
what I was surprised about.
yeah, so many fun little nods to just this and that. And I think to me the best Easter egg, frankly, the Easter eggs that kept getting me were just the level of violence, because Fallout has a love of dismemberment, and this show relishes the dismemberment. Yeah,
surprisingly.
This was a bloody mess. So I'm very excited. And yeah, obviously there are some naysayers and what because they're like, oh, it's Fallout woke, but you know, let the naysayers speak as loud as they want, because it's like, because Fallout is overwhelmingly critically praised. It's being very popular. So the more people hate it, the only lonelier you stand. So I want to say a burgeoning trend, starting with like not necessarily starting, but really kickstarting last year with the 1-2 combo of Last of Us and the Super Mario movie. Like,
yeah,
I would say we are at a point where we can reasonably say that you can make a good video game movie,
right?
And that you have
and TV
so it's like
adaptation.
you can make a good, so no excuses now. No excuse. Yeah, so it's like we can make good video game movies, and
Prince of Persia.
And
we gotta get Jake Gyllenhaal back.
Yeah, hopefully, like they take this to heart. So it's like, let's make some good video game movies, especially if it's coming that the superhero movies are on the downcline. We gotta have something to fill that that vacuum, and I think maybe it's gonna be video game movies. So yeah.
What I think was great about it too, bringing it back to Fallout, which was really good about the show in itself, was, you know, it added a new set of lore to Fallout that a lot of people don't know, which is they pretty much tell you now that Vault-Tec dropped the bombs. And, you know, for a long time, and it's still kind of a mystery if you want to count it or not, especially in the Fallout lore, that no one knows who really dropped the bombs. They don't know whether it was China. They don't know whether it was America. They don't know who really did it. And the show kind of revealed it now as being Vault-Tec, which I thought was really interesting, because they, in a way, added its own sense of lore to it. Because I know what some of the criticism is without even reading any of it. I guarantee some people were like, it's trying to put this woke liberal agenda about corporations being evil and about, you know, trying to take over. And it's like, no, that has always been Fallout.
Yeah.
This is a series that those critics that people are saying a couple things, and I'm going to address just a few of them, to say that this is like a new age kind of slight against the man slight. It's not. This has always been Fallout. This has been also the parody of it. The parody of it too was the idea that corporations would get this big and be able to control America. That's also kind of the satire of it. I know the other criticism of it, I guarantee, was the fact that it was a woman that was the lead character out of the vault, and that she was a badass at first, which is hilarious, because when you play the game, you are automatically the badass because you are the chosen one. You are the lone wanderer.
Yeah, it's a role-playing video game.
Like, it doesn't matter what sex you made that character, they were automatically going to be a badass, because that's how you start off in every game. You are the person that leads, you know, the charge. So as you were saying earlier, Steve, it didn't have super mutants. It had a brief moment of super mutants, but super mutants, I think, would be pushing a little bit too much on everybody at once.
It's just season 1. You gotta.
There was a lot to take in for people in this show. If you have never ever played a single bit of this game in your life, there was a lot to take in.
It's a lot. You have your Raiders. You have, and it's more or less, the season 1 is supposed to captivate you and bring you into the show. Once you're in, then they can start spoon feeding us little by little the increments of the entire. Because again, Fallout is huge. For people who don't know, again, because this is Luke put it adequately. This show caters to the hardcore fan, and it caters to people that don't know what is Fallout.
Yeah.
Fallout's huge. Like, each game is a different adaptation of like a state, right? Like, one of them is Massachusetts.
But not just that, they bring it all back into each game. Each game that comes out, the world gets bigger. Those stories come to that game as well. It's part of each game as they go along.
Yeah, and it's beautifully put, and you see these characters, some characters that are living above surface, kind of like reacting to, like there you get two fish out of water tales in this, right? You get the guy in the Brotherhood of Steel reacting to the Vault Girl, and then you get the Vault Girl reacting to the Brotherhood of Steel guy because she's like going
Might I add,
above there.
Lucy's character was not only did she portray being a Vault Girl great, what was one of the best things about it though too was how the way she talked. As you talk, because in the game, if nobody has again played the game, you choose the way you talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're as a vault dweller when you come out, it's kind of funny because people, one, if they see this what you're wearing, they actually judge you more, and then two, they actually make fun of you and say, "Oh, you're a vault dweller. Oh, you're a vault dweller." You know, you get less respect in the wasteland. And if you're like, "Wow, that's really that's the game of Fallout."
That's
really
true.
That's really what happens.
Yeah,
I thought it was great the naiveness of her, as like Luke was talking about how they were raised in the society that they were to rebuild America in the great, patriotic way. But everyone else, as that lady put at the trade post, you know what people really think? Fuck the vaults. And it's like that's exactly the lore of Fallout.
yeah.
Exactly the lore.
You have there's a moment where the old ghoul face there like shoots a sign of the Fallout where she's kind of admiring it. She's looking up and she's like, I'm missing home, and he just shoots it.
Wasn't that great that he is basically the original Pip-Boy?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
The original, thumbs up.
Yeah.
I thought that was incredible. That was great. And, for those of you who are wondering, oh, I bet the show starts out slow. No, like every single game, you start out creating your character and then the bomb drop. And then you get to fall out in the wasteland. There is not a lot of waiting time.
No.
Yeah. It is not a slow burn. This show jumps right in.
So, I was just really, really impressed with the guys. And, I give it honestly a 9 out of 10. I really do. A 9 out of 10 so far.
Too.
I third that 9 out of 10. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope Amazon realizes what they have on their hands. Maybe they.
Yeah.
And you know what? And this was also being brought up. I hope Bethesda realizes because I believe next week Fallout 4 is getting a big update, and there's talk about there being a Fallout 3 remake, but it's like,
yeah,
when's the next Fallout, guys? Like,
well, Fallout 76 is like what, like 5 years old, Steve? I mean,
5 years, yeah, and like
something like that.
And unless this is a whole other thing, but then of course Elder Scrolls might be another 3 years from now, which will be like Skyrim. 20 years after Skyrim. It's like I get these games. I get these types of games take a long time, but like Jesus Christ, guys, it's like we just want another one. We're begging for it. We're like we just.
I already want season 2 of Fallout.
Yeah. It's season like, 2.
It's going to be in Vegas.
Yeah,
I reinstalled Fallout 4. I have New Vegas installed. I'm gonna play what I can. I'm psyched to get back to play Fallout.
I'm psyched. I'm already back in the wasteland, guys.
Shout out to Steam out there, man. Steam was like, was that show hot? Release them all. Like
release them all again.
I was like, dude.
I know.
They get it. They get it.
I know. I bought myself a 76 and I bought my son 76 and I'm like, now we can rule the wasteland as father and son.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that is it's also turning back for video games, and I like that. Like 76 is a game that actually video game people despise. A lot of video games are like, this game sucks.
I'm not a big fan of it when it came out.
But now the thing is, like, now the game is a subscription-based game. If you have a Amazon Prime, if you're an Amazon Prime user, then you can get it for free. So I like that kind of like give and take for the community.
Yeah, it's fun. Like it's okay for what it is, but like when 76,
it's all about 4 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, 4 sucked.
What?
4 was a
4 was okay.
4 was like the problem with 4 is that it was basically just 3, and it was like 10 years after 3. It's like, can you do something else? Like it was good stuff, but it was like nothing new. So But it's like
Except you can build settlements.
Build.
Yeah, but like, who cares? I don't want to build a settlement. I want to
Takes a long time.
like what? Like what? Why is that a big? Like why is that a draw when your whole game is you wandering as a lone person shooting people in the head? Now, okay, so now the goal
time
is
to relax after you blow people's heads off.
Luke, you don't like crafting in every game you play, though? Come on.
Yeah. It's just like, guys. Yeah,
you gotta get the flamethrower with level 12.
The crafting thing is one of the most annoying things. It's like remember the early 2000s where everybody had to have a stealth level, and now it's like, oh, we got to have crafting. It's like we don't. You actually don't have to have crafting. If your game is about one thing, it can just be about that one thing. You don't have to craft.
And
Luke is just overwhelmed with how big Fallout is, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
It's a big
You know what they didn't do in the Fallout show, and they did a lot of other stuff. They scavenged. They had used stim packs. They had slow motions for the bullets. Nobody crafted. Oh wait, no, you're wrong. No,
Nobody crafted.
Nobody
crafted that guy's leg on his.
You're right. Well, no, they didn't really
make
craft. They just shoved one on there. That's
There's
different.
like they
Jim's
makeshift
limbs.
a bunch of stuff, which is funny. There's a lot of that in this show as well. Taking it back to it, I love that where people
bucket bombs.
There's like they go into the town, right? There's a town, they go into it, and they act like people that are pissed. Like Rob was saying, as soon as they see the jumpsuit, they immediately, you fucking like vault dweller, you know what I mean? You piece of shit type of thing. And so I like that. That's exactly from the game. The comedy is there. The critics are going to say what they will, but I feel like this is a win for video game players of the series and people. It's a win just in the series because this is good both ways. It goes both ways. That's a sign of success. And it's a win for Amazon at the end of the day. That was reeling from.
I think the only thing Amazon is regretting is not releasing it on a weekly basis.
Yeah, that's the only thing I was a little like, damn, dude.
What's interesting is that like that definitely brought up discourse about it because I think now obviously it's like being able to watch one after the other, but the thing about Fallout is I feel each episode was self-contained enough that it felt like it could have worked on a week to week. I wonder if. I wonder if that wasn't clear when they set out to film it, where they thought they might be week to week, but instead they decided to release it all at once because they weren't sure how audiences would react. But I don't know. I think week to week would have probably helped with the hype a little bit more. It's got a lot of hype, but it definitely would have gotten people like talking every week because that's what's happening right now. With X-Men 97, like that's another big nerd one, and every week everybody's always talking about what's going on with X-Men 97.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So let's go ahead and wrap this up on this very special Vault Dweller episode of the Real Sharks podcast. Of course, it's your host Rob with Steve,
yo,
and Luke,
yo.